Jay, that's strangely close to Daniel Jones from the Giants. Daniel, is that you? Beat the Chiefs. Show me. If the Broncos and Russell Wilson can show me that they can beat the Chiefs, then I will start believing.
And the crowd up. And so are this defense, and Kansas City won't snap the ball again. The Denver Broncos have beaten the Kansas City Chiefs.
David Montgomery on the Lions, former Bear, gonna make this his revenge game for sure. David Montgomery gets the touchdown that ices the game. No! And there's a flag. There's flags. There's flags. There's flags. There's flags. Snap. Hold. Kick.
Denver wins! Denver wins! Let's go!
They open. No!
What happened? Oh shit.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Only Football Tonight. The 2026 draft is complete, and Kyle and I are going to grade every single team. We are going to go into deeper analysis than you could ever imagine. Just kidding. We're just going to talk some shit about the draft. It's going to be fun. Kyle and I are going to be like, good, not good, whatever, sure, could have used improvement, but we're going to be talking draft, all the teams, all the picks that helped, that really wowed us or absolutely disappointed us. And of course, ended off with the chives with Kyle. Oh, let's get it. America is football.
Football is America. If you don't like it, you can kiss your candy ass.
The moment in time. I don't give a damn.
Oh my god.
You loved it.
30 to 27. Chiefs win. Chiefs win 30 to 20. Woo!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Only Football Podcast. I'm Kyle Metrick.
I'm ready to go.
We are going to be talking NFL draft because it feels like now that the draft has happened, we are pretty close to actual football being played, right?
Oh my God, it's gonna feel great. Every day that ticks by, I'm like, football.
I know, and weirdly enough, I was actually kind of struggling, like getting excited because of the way the season ended for me.
Yeah.
But now that the draft has happened, I can kind of feel like it's coming back. I'm starting to feel things again.
I'm starting to believe.
I'm starting to taste the flavor in my food again. But we talked after day one of the draft, and of course that just covers round one. And the majority of the draft happened while we were away. So now we're coming back to kind of talk about where our teams and other teams in the NFL, where they stand post 2026 NFL draft. First time it was in Pittsburgh since 1947. And I thought, as far as like just talking about the draft itself, like I felt like the city showed out in a way that no other city that has hosted the draft has done. I mean, I didn't even know there was that many people in Pittsburgh, but there was, there must have been like, I don't know, 9 out of every 10 people that lived there showed up for this event.
I think it was like 800,000 total, and that was the record.
Yeah, that's incredible. So like, good job for Pittsburgh. I mean, they had to shut school down for this thing.
Dude, so, I heard about that. Like, kids miss school. I'm like, the draft was at night for the first night, and you got to miss school because of that? Like, what the hell? I want that.
And sorry ahead of time that I'm a little grainy. I don't know why it's grainy, but
that's crusty.
We're gonna have to just flex. All right. So, did you know that the Broncos were the first team since I forgot, I think it was the 2016 Dolphins maybe,
Yeah.
that didn't have a pick until the third round?
You guys didn't have a second rounder either? I did not know that.
I guess they traded back.
Oh, okay. I thought you guys were going in without a second rounder as well. If you traded back, then okay. That's kind of like a yeah. I mean, the Bills did it.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy because it felt like the draft was kind of happening without us.
Yeah. Yeah.
and then we made a really good pick. We got a defensive tackle that is supposed to be a replacement for John Franklin Myers,
Yeah, I heard.
and a versatile defensive tackle. You know, all the best teams that are playing in January have good depth at the defensive line. And then, maybe surprising to some, they selected Washington's running back, who was the fourth ranked running back.
Jonah Coleman.
Jonah Coleman, he was rated the fourth best running back.
Wow.
This year. And I saw a video of him like scaling a wall, like up to the fifth floor, like just running and then just climbing a pole to a stadium. And the dude was like a good 5 stories off the ground, like super dangerous.
Yeah.
And so they get Tyler Onyedem, the defensive tackle.
Killed that.
And then they get Jonah Coleman. And then I gotta say, I kind of like some of these later picks. So Cage Casey, an offensive tackle out of Boise State. So going from the Broncos to the Broncos. And
same color scheme too.
Yeah. And outside of like that joke, he's a versatile tackle, which is what you want when you're adding a depth piece, because ideally this is someone that's going to come fill in if somebody gets hurt, and you never know who that person's going to be. So I like that he has, he's played tackle, he's played some guard, he's played like he can be moved around. And I thought that was pretty good value to be able to land him in the fourth round. And then they get Justin. I wish it was Jolly. It's not. It's Jolie.
Jolie.
Tight end out of North Carolina, who was like, I don't know. I saw something like he led tight ends in a couple things. Like his comp is who's that tight end for the New Orleans Saints?
He was on the Bears for a year, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember, like his comp was oh my god, this is gonna kill me. Hold on. Let me see.
Yeah, I'm trying to see who Brevin Jordan? No, right?
Not Brevin Jordan. Here I'm pulling his profile right now. I just got to it. But yeah, he was North Carolina. He had like 800 receiving yards. He led the team in touchdowns. So pretty good.
Yeah, and well, you guys got what's his face, the tight end,
Evan Ingram.
Evan Ingram. He did really well.
He's got I mean, I don't know if he did really well. I think a lot of what was holding him back might have been play calling. So we'll see now that Sean Payton's giving play calling over to our new offensive coordinator, what that looks like. But even if he did really good, Evan Ingram has like another year on his contract, and then he would be a free agent again. So this could potentially be the replacement. Isaiah Likely was his comp
Oh, Isaiah Likely. He's in on the
Baltimore, right?
Ravens. Yeah, Baltimore.
And Cade Stover was another one.
Mhm.
Well, he matched 82% similarity with Cade Stover, but 95% for Isaiah Likely.
Oh,
Um,
Jesus, dude. That's a good comp right there.
he played receiver, running back, linebacker, and defensive end in New York, where he had 123 catches, almost 2,000 yards, and 22 touchdowns across 3 varsity seasons.
Jesus.
Helped his team post an 11-1 record as a senior. He was lightly recruited as a 2-star prospect. He signed with UConn, converted to tight end for the first time as a true freshman in 2022. Not much, but as a senior, he got a little bit better. Like his true freshman year, he didn't really do much. But by the time he was a senior in 2025, he had career highs in receptions, career highs in touchdowns, earned first team All ACC honors, capped his college career by winning tight end MVP at the Senior Bowl. So this is a player that is potentially peaking right now, and I thought this is a really good gamble, and I'm a big fan of the pickup because we do not have many athletic tight ends. I mean, you look at
Mhm.
our tight end room, and it's like outside of Evan Ingram, it's like a bunch of old, like it's like we signed Jawan Jennings at 38 years old, or no, Mercedes Lewis at
Mercedes Lewis. Yeah.
41 years old.
Thanks for
What
taking him off our hands.
dude, I can't even believe he was so bad. When we put him in, it was like, okay, he's not.
Yeah.
When like Tim Tebow came back that one year to play
Uh-huh.
tight end
Uh-huh.
for Jacksonville, and it was like, no, it doesn't look good. Take him out. um, that's kind of what that looks. So long story short, look, we've been kind of deficient at tight end for years. I mean, just before last year, our tight ends combined had less than 500 receiving yards. So this has
Yeah.
been a ongoing problem.
Mhm.
And I think that we can be a little encouraged by this pick. Then we got Miles Scott, a safety out of Illinois.
Hell
Sean
yeah.
Payton loves Illinois, dude.
Yep.
He
Yep.
he played quarterback there, and it seems like every year we're getting a player out of Illinois, whether Pat Bryant last year, this year, Miles Scott. But Miles Scott, dude, was a receiver. He was converted to safety, and the dude is a ball hawking safety. It was like his highlights was just him getting interceptions, like 10 minutes straight of getting picks. Pretty good with the ball in his hands too when he gets the pick. So I feel like this is a replacement for a depth piece at safety for us. Like he's not going to come in and start, but he could play a good role on special teams. And also, we drafted a safety out of Boise State. I'm blanking on his name last year, and he didn't. JL Skinner, that's who it is. And
Right.
I'm thinking JL Skinner might get cut, and Miles Scott may take over. But then we got another tight end, Dallin Bentley. Just gotta love the name Bentley. And then
For a
this
tight
year
end.
we got the Mr. Irrelevant pick.
Oh, okay.
So Red Murdoch, linebacker out of Buffalo,
What a name.
was this year's Mr. Irrelevant. And I mean, what can you say about a guy that was drafted in the 7th round with the last pick besides we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah.
But overall, analysts, which I'm not a big fan of draft grades. I mean, I was watching CBS Sports give the Broncos a draft grade earlier today, but before he even got to the grade, he was like talking about our running back, and he goes, Jonah Coleman is going to provide a lot of help to Bo Nix or whoever the quarterback is for Denver. And I'm going, what?
Whoever the quarterback
Whoever the
is?
quarterback is for Denver. And I'm like, these are the same guys that we're like listening to as like they have this like remarkable insight. This guy is these guys don't actually do deep dives enough to where their opinion matters. It's like they just like reiterate the information that the analysts are saying, and then they do it on CBS, and then they do it on ESPN, and then it's like it. So I don't know. I stopped caring about draft grades, but for what it's worth, they got a B- to an A on all their draft grades. It could be an F if none of the players work, or it could be an A+ if Jonah Coleman turns out to be like a Terrell Davis.
Yeah.
So it's just like whatever. I think as a fan, it looks like they drafted the positions that we needed, and I think that's what you want as a fan.
And that's what I had heard too about the Broncos earlier, was after the draft that people were like, the Broncos are like one of the more complete teams right now. So who they got at what position was almost like, okay, an almost complete team for the most part, getting the people that they need. And yeah, like you guys may have drafted out of the second round, but I've come to like the decision as a fan to be like, look, if it were up to me, this team would probably be in shambles, and I'm going to trust the coaches and our scouts and stuff like that. So if that's who they want to get, okay, at least you guys saw something that's looks like potential to be helpful to the team, because you know what I mean? Like how you said, the Mr. Irrelevant is always like, well, we'll see.
Right.
At least you got drafted because they saw something in you. So I don't know, man. Like I haven't really heard anything bad about the Broncos draft or the Broncos in general because of that completeness that you guys have. So
we got Jalen Waddle with the 30th pick.
And so I think that's what kind of put you guys over the top there.
Yeah, and real quick, we got Benjamin with us here in the chat. Thanks for joining us. He's back, baby. He said the Jaguars had the most ass draft I've seen in a while, except
Pregnon. So pregnant man, I think.
Okay.
Well, Emmanuel Pregnon, a guard from Oregon.
I mean, did the Jaguars like have that bad of a draft? I mean, their GM is like 27, right? Or something crazy.
Oh yeah, because they did just hire a new guy. Yeah, you're right. He's a younger guy. Yeah.
So this is like his first real draft, right? Or last year was his first real draft?
I think it was last year, because I think they paired him up with Liam Cohen.
So this is kind of like a big deal for him.
First and second drafts are huge.
So if these guys like pan out to be superstars, it's like, as a fan, you're like, oh, the draft was ass. But to be fair, you don't really know that it's ass until the players play. I mean, everybody loved Trayvon Walker with the number 1 overall pick. And it's like, is he good? Yeah. I mean, they just re-signed him. But is he like as good as other first round? Is he Myles Garrett?
No. He's not Myles Garrett.
But like everybody, gave an A+ to that. And it's just, I could go on and on about like how analysts say like this guy is really good, and then that guy gets drafted, and then fans say, oh, that must be a good thing, and then analysts are wrong, and then it all falls apart.
Yeah. That's what's good. Like you said, it's like you got to give them time. There are like some of those where, at least in my opinion, those first rounders, you're like, those are starters. Like that is an immediate starter, though.
And it's true, Austin. At least the Jags have a swimming pool in their stadium. they do have that cool going for them. So how did the Bears do as like day 2, day 3?
I like the moves they've made. I think it goes back to what I was saying earlier, where I'm like, I have to trust Ben Johnson and Ryan Poles, because the first the 3 out of the 4 first picks were all offense. But to be fair, after that, it was all defense. So we got our safety to go next to Kobe Bryant, Dylan Thieneman out of Oregon. And we had talked about him on the draft live stream, where you were like, oh, that dude went to Purdue, then he went to Oregon, and that's where we got him. He's like one of the more faster safeties and really, I think, players in the NFL. He ran a ridiculous 40. They say this guy's could like obviously keep up with anyone, and that he's physical, and he's going to start immediately with next to Kobe Bryant once the season starts. And then Logan Jones, center. We needed a center. We needed to develop one at least. Bradbury isn't going to be there probably past this next season. And then Sam Roush, a tight end in the 3rd round. This was the weirdest pick because we got Colson Loveland, we got Cole Kmet, and Roush is like this athletic guy, and everyone's like, well, he's just kind of he's taking over the Connor. I forget his first name, but Smythe, one of our blocking tight ends. He would be in there for like runs and blocks, jumbo package or whatever. So they're like, oh, he's coming in to replace him. And again, as a Bears fan, you're like, we have our 2 tight ends, right? But Ben Johnson does like to run 13 personnel with that 3 tight end set. So maybe there's also a little bit of a Ben Johnson, I guess, like winning that argument for the 3rd rounder. And then we got like a really gadgety wide receiver out of LSU, Xavier Thomas. They think it's just going to be like he's going to play special teams, return kicks, things like that, which the Bears haven't had a consistent returner in a while. And then we got a cornerback, a linebacker, and a defensive tackle. I mean, the defensive tackle at round 6 is surprising because a lot of what Bears fans have been like pounding on the table for is like defensive tackle, edge. Like you got to make the defense better on the line. So, but here's one thing, because Kyle, you and I have had this like discussion several times where what do we say? Like, if the defensive line adds pressure on the quarterback, he's bound to do what?
Throw a bad, inaccurate pass, interception.
Exactly. But the weird thing was the Bears pass rush last year was hot garbage. And yet they ended up with the most turnovers. Like, whether it be fumbles or, namely because of the link to the tackle edge position, interceptions. Like, we had a lot of interceptions last year, but we had zero help on the defensive line. So like we've had that discussion where we both agree, like, oh yeah, you have to add pressure to the quarterback for these interceptions to go up. And the Bears kind of disproved that last year, at least in the interception category. We're not going to win Super Bowls without, getting pressure on the quarterback and sacking people. So
yeah,
Bears fans were like, we need defensive tackle, we need edge, and we didn't get one until round 6. Now, last draft, the biggest need that a lot of Bears fans thought was running back. And it was a running back heavy draft last draft. So who did we get at the very last round was Monangai, and he actually put like an impression on the team his rookie season.
Yeah.
So I, it's one of those things again where I'm just like, I got to trust in Poles and I got to trust in Ben Johnson. And, maybe this guy at defensive tackle, Vandenberg out of Georgia Tech, can be like a day one, mid-season like impact player, just like Monangai was, but he was more early on in the season as a running back too. So I like the Bears draft. I'm still kind of like, part of me still wishes they got more defensive line help instead of just the one tackle. But yeah, dude, like Thieneman at safety, sick. We got a center because Drew Dahlman decided to retire at 27. And we got some defensive guys. Like, that's probably the more important thing is like, we got defense. We got a majority of defense overall. So I'm happy. I'm pretty happy with it.
Well, and the tight end thing, like you mentioned, you're like, why did we get a tight end? I think it's similar to for Denver, we got J.K. Dobbins and R.J. Harvey, and it's like, okay, now you're bringing in another running back, and it's like, well, Jonah Coleman is a different type of running back than R.J. Harvey, but I understand at first like the hesitation because like R.J. Harvey led all rookies in touchdowns last year, in scrimmage touchdowns.
Oh wow!
And he is like turning out to be a good draft pick. I mean, he's a weapon, and I think he's going to get better this year, and he was already pretty good last year. So, J.K. Dobbins, though, a lot of people don't realize he was top 3 up until like week 9 when he got injured in yards per carry and like yards rushing. He was, I think he was getting like almost 5 yards per carry. So, like J.K. Dobbins is really good if he's healthy. And that is the big question mark. And with Cole Kmet, it's like the guy's only missed 2 games in his entire career. You got the tight end that you drafted last year,
Colson, yep.
and Colson Loveland. He's like, you're not worried about injuries with these younger guys. Now, Cole Kmet's only 27 years old, but the 2 games that he missed he missed last year. And if you look, it's like he in 2020 he had a groin and a shoulder. His rookie season didn't miss any time. Then 2023 he had a quad, limited in practice, but he played through it. Then later that season he had a knee in week 16. He missed practice, but he played week 17. And 2024, no injuries at all that even showed up. And the guy's been like pretty reliable. I mean, that's like about as damn reliable as you can get. And then 2025, though, he missed his first ever game week 8 against the Ravens because of a back injury. Then he had a concussion in week 9 when he came back. And then he got an ankle/knee injury heading into week 16. So I think the Bears might be thinking, well, if we do want to run 2-3 tight end sets, we need to have a plan. Like, what if Colson Loveland is like entering that, maybe not a significant injury, but just that age where like those years of going through an entire season without an injury designation is over. Like there's going to be
aggression.
Yeah, like maybe an ankle holding him out of a game, or and what is our plan? If something like that happens. And I think that's kind of how Denver had to think about J.K. Dobbins. Like, if J.K. Dobbins is healthy, it does seem unnecessary to have 3 running backs that are really good. But let's not imagine the best case scenario. Let's imagine the worst case scenario. And that's like, because a lot of people don't even realize J.K. Dobbins going down was a huge blow to the Broncos. And honestly, if he stayed healthy, Denver might have been able to go to the Super Bowl without Bo Nix. And that was the big issue, because RJ Harvey was not a 3-down back. And he basically got pushed into being a 3-down back. And then we had Jaleel McLaughlin playing the RB2. He is terrible in pass pro. So Bo Nix was susceptible. And it's just like, it's a ripple effect of bad things when you don't have the depth necessary to overcome these things. So with your injury prone players, or just your positions that you love, like Sean Payton loves 3 running backs, so you should probably have 4 really good ones. And you said Bears love running 3 tight ends. Well, you should probably have 4 like really capable, and that's just part of the deal there, I think, with that pick.
Yeah, and I could totally see that too, because he's, like you said, like Cole Kmet, like he's a Bears favorite. He really is. But it's just like, yeah, you love the guy, but were we really like, and I don't want to trash him, but like, were we as excited about him at any point of any season as we were about Colson Loveland? You know what I mean? Like, I don't think so. Like, I like Cole Kmet. Like, he's a big guy. He looks like your prototypical, or at least what you would hope a prototypical tight end kind of looks like.
Tall. When he caught that pass against the Rams, you guys were excited about him.
Yeah, no, 100% we were. And that's kind of the thing with like fans sometimes, where you're just like, you can be at fault because you think of this person. You're like, I don't want him to leave, but that may be a bad thing to keep him on the team, even though he's just a fan
Yeah.
favorite. You know, so
I do.
and
I know
think,
what you're talking about. Like,
and
I want Von Miller to come back for a year, and Bronco fans are telling me that it's a unnecessary use of a roster spot.
yeah, there you go.
And I'm like, man, it was actually the guy that was staying here that was telling me he could get me onto the field. He was the one that was telling me, like, because it seems like, well, what's one roster spot? But when you're making cuts, like, if you have a good team, now this doesn't apply to the bad teams, but like, if you have a team like Denver and Chicago, the Philadelphia, Detroit, the Rams, 49ers, these teams, Ravens, that have a lot of talent on their team, when it's time to make those cuts, unfortunately, you're going to cut somebody that's going to go and ball out somewhere. Shaheed last year, Shaheed was he was with the Broncos in the preseason, and he went on to be a huge factor for the Seahawks. And it's like, the guy you're cutting, you're just hoping isn't the wrong guy,
Yeah.
And so I think it's like, oh, what's one roster spot? Well, when it comes time to make those cuts, you feel it. It's like, oh, it's like having a budget, and it's like, oh, what's $50 on this thing? And then all of a sudden you pay all your bills, and it's like, damn, that $50 would be clutch right now.
It would be sick.
But it's like, I didn't feel it when, I had the whole paycheck, but now that I'm, putting everything in the right category, it's like, oh man, yeah, that one roster spot would be huge right now, because we could keep that extra linebacker, or that, that player you don't want to let walk because he's going to get signed immediately. And he's not going to be able to stay in your practice squad. So yeah, I did you feel like any other did you hear about the guy from Navy that was drafted to the Steelers?
No.
This was like a really big deal. So there was I guess the new rules is that the Navy what is it?
Annapolis.
Yep. They can put their career in the military commitment on hold and be drafted. So the wide receiver out of Navy, this was the first player out of Navy to get drafted, and he was drafted to Pittsburgh. And,
running back, Eli Heidenreich.
Oh, was he a running back? I thought he was a receiver.
Wild name to be in the armed forces, Heidenreich.
But it was such a crazy moment. It was like, I was watching it live, and like, there were people crying.
Yeah.
I think Kyle Brandt was like, man, this is such a cool moment. I have chills right now. I have tears in my eyes. It's like, you literally don't have chills or tears in your eyes. But it was a cool moment. It was a cool moment.
We're actually seeing you. You don't.
Yeah, it was like, I won't make that joke, but it's like, when people are like doing like the fake cry, but there's no tears coming out. It's like like
yelling.
Every Adam Sandler movie. Have you ever seen Adam Sandler actually seem emotional, or no? Is he always doing that thing where he's like, he's like, I'm gonna compensate that I can't have raw emotion with this like obnoxious cry.
How dare you? Adam Sandler's a national treasure.
No, he's one of my favorite actors. He just can't cry. Actually, the only moment I've ever seen him like actually get emotional and cry is in Big Daddy, when the son's going, but I wipe my own ass. I wipe my own ass. And he goes,
like, yeah, you do.
And he goes, I know. And he actually cries. That's the only moment you'll find Adam Sandler really get emotional. But
put in that effort.
Parking that aside, it was cool. I'm just a big fan of like watching these cities host the draft when they
Mhm.
draft their player. It's
Oh, I
really
know.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause it's just a hometown vibe. I mean, it's like when the Bulls picked Derrick Rose. You know what I mean? Like it's the hometown kid, and everybody's going to immediately love you. So this guy, Heidenreich, is that must be kind of like a dream come true, honestly.
The Raiders, Fernando Mendoza,
Oh yeah.
the Jets got David Bailey, an elite pass rusher. Cardinals. What did you think about? Okay, I feel like the Cardinals have been silently stacking guys now. Like,
I was hoping you'd say this because I thought so too.
yeah, and I think they did the right thing because I've been saying this for a while. You guys don't realize how close the Cardinals are. And I'll say this, I think it was week 8 or week 9 last year that I went back and realized that the Cardinals, I think they were like 2-5 or 2-6, but
Mhm.
I went back and I saw that all of their losses were by like 2 or less points. And some of their losses were like, man, that who was the longest winless team last year? And they won because like the Cardinals intercepted a ball to seal the game, but then the defender fumbled the ball on the return and it got recovered, and then that team scored. I think it might have been the Raiders. Um,
Oh, it was against the Patriots, wasn't it?
no, that was like 2 years ago. That was Drake May on the the last play of regulation when he like tried to pitch it and then
Oh no, not Drake May,
what was the last
Mac Jones.
who? Yeah, I guess it probably was. Would who had this? No, it was. I think it was the Jets. No, it was the Titans. It was the
What?
Titans. I think that like ended up beating the Cardinals in this like crazy way, where they like the Cardinals sealed the game-winning pick, but then fumbled it, and then the
Yeah,
Titans recovered it and scored a touchdown, and then no, it was
yeah,
the Jets. Final answer because
yeah. I was thinking of a completely different play. I thought we were talking about. Never mind. Go ahead.
okay,
Yeah.
but I'm saying all I'm trying to say is that the Cardinals lost all of their games by a hair
Mhm.
up until like week 9 or week 10, and I was saying like, man, if you go back and watch these games, like they could very easily be 6-2 or 7-1, and we know that the margin last year,
Mhm.
especially last year, it was like the margin of victory was like 2-3 points. I mean, Denver led the NFL in one score like wins, and people were trying to hold that against us, but that's just the way it was last year. Like the level of competition has equalized throughout the
Mhm.
NFL
Mhm.
because there's really no like dynasty right now. It was really the 2023 quarterback draft class that changed the dynamic of the NFL. And um like you got the command, I mean, you can count on fewer hands which teams can't, like which teams you don't think would make the playoffs. You could only list like 3, and everybody else is like, I mean, yeah, they could make a playoff run. So the parity right now is insane. And
Mhm.
Arizona just fell underneath the bar of winning those games. So
Mhm.
now you're telling me that they're adding more pieces, like not just pieces, but having the number 3 overall pick and being able to add Jeremiah Love, who is the best running back in this
Yeah.
year's class, who's going to come
Yeah.
out and be, he's going to work. It's not like, is he going to be good? Yeah, he's going to be really good. So let's just see what the Cardinals look like with a really good running back now and Marvin Harrison Jr. And we
Mhm.
saw the emergence of the other wide receiver that was balling out when Marvin Harrison was hurt. I had him on
Oh
my fantasy
yeah.
team. Um,
Michael Wilson.
Michael Wilson,
Yeah.
and then you got to add in Trey McBride, and
Mhm.
they still have the other running back from
David.
I think the running back from Florida State, right?
James Conner.
Oh,
Trey Benson.
Trey Benson is there as well. But they had they had another running back, the one that dropped the ball on the 1 yard line. Gosh, I'm blanking on his name right now, but
I don't know.
The Cardinals are starting to build a squad. And I think the question is like, what about quarterback?
Yeah.
Right. And like, how do you feel post draft about the Cardinals? And like, okay, so is it Jacoby Brissett?
Jacoby Brissett's going to be the starter, and then they drafted.
I don't like that. Beck. Like, what is that?
Jacoby Brissett?
Like, what are we doing?
It's I was thinking the same thing when they picked him up. I thought like, but outside of Fernando Mendoza, like,
they got Carson Beck.
Yeah, but like, what are you supposed to do in the draft? Like, Carson Beck is like one of those guys where if he came out last year, I feel like the hype around him would have been better. But I think it's a good, at least kind of like project QB at round 3, because all I hear is that Carson Beck is built like a quarterback that you want, right? Like size, hand size, mind, all that stuff. Like everyone's like, he is an NFL QB, but he's not like your Caleb Williams, your Andrew Luck's, your who's the Jacksonville quarterback? Trevor Lawrence is, right? Like those number one guys. And in this year, you're Fernando Mendoza's. But I think at round 3, I think it's a good value. And I know like what's his face, the quarterback for the Cardinals, Jacoby Brissett, like that looks so bad, but at least you've got a guy you can at least kind of look to the immediate future.
It's the mentor. It's just it's got to be just to mentor Carson Beck. If Carson Beck isn't starting week 1, I would be shocked. And
really?
Yeah, because like Carson Beck is considered pro ready. Like I mean that's the thing about Carson Beck, is that he's pro ready. And I think that just because, look, if Carson Beck was drafted in the first round, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. It would be like, of course, he's the plan at quarterback. But because, he was drafted in the 3rd round, which the Cardinals, good on them for realizing, hey, we don't have to waste 1st and 2nd round capital on a guy we can get in the 3rd round, but that doesn't change our plan. And we've seen Jacoby Brissett kind of be a part of this. Like, who was in front of Drake May? Jacoby Brissett.
Yep.
And I think this might just be like, hey, it seems like he did a really good job with Drake May. Maybe he can have similar success with Carson Beck. But I don't know. What move I probably Malik
Willis.
Malik Willis.
Yep.
Dude, I think he's like a really, like, that is the move if you're the Dolphins. Like, that was the move, because if he works out, it's a home run. And what we saw from him in Green Bay last year was like, this dude got really good at football. And I don't know if it was being with Matt LaFleur or being under Jordan Love or what happened, but he's an entirely different quarterback than we saw at Tennessee. And if he works out, then, it's a home run. If it doesn't work out, then the Dolphins are going to be drafting next year to get a quarterback anyway.
And I can see him being the next year's Tannehill, the 26th Tannehill. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, the Tannehill Award.
Yeah, he starts off really badly, goes to like a good coach or goes to a good system, and then it's like, oh, we actually have a starting quarterback for the next 3-4 years, whatever, right? Like, I can absolutely see him be that. I don't know if the Cardinals ever even like offered him anything or were even looking to sign him, or if like the entire time the plan was to go with Brissett. Like, was that the plan the entire time? Because if it was, and now you're kind of looking like shit because of it, that's when you kind of go, when you have to go with Carson Beck, So I think it was either the plan that they were going to try to get one of these guys, these later round quarterbacks in this draft, or if they just kind of look stupid now. You know what I mean? Like if they're looking like, oh shit, we look dumb. We should have at least made an offer to Malik Willis. But yeah, dude.
Well, the Cardinals cleared. I was going to say the Cardinals cleared $20 million of 2027 salary cap moving off of Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray, yeah.
So I think like the plan was never about like this year. It was 2027. Mm-hmm. It was like we need to make sure that we have the cap necessary. So in 2027, we can have another quarterback on the roster that's paid like a real QB1. And I think they must be. It must be one of those situations where they're like, if Carson Beck doesn't work out, we only wasted a 3rd round pick. And if we're drafting high again, then we get our franchise quarterback next year, and then the team really has no excuses anymore.
Yeah, and like you said, like they don't have excuses because they've been building, like you were saying earlier, they've been like building draft picks for the last like 2-3 seasons or drafts or whatever. What did because there was another quarterback taken, and that one was the LA Rams with the round 1, the 1st round pick for the Rams in almost 4 years or something like that, goes to Alabama quarterback Ty Simpson. Did you see the reaction call from McVay that he had with the quarter with
I thought
Ty
it
Simpson?
Was super perfect. I saw the caption that was like McVay was pissed, but I thought McVay seemed pissed in his press conference. The phone call seemed like perfectly normal to me.
Really? I sensed a little bit of like, I didn't think I approve. Like I didn't approve this. You know what I mean? Like I'm your coach.
I think if McVay did have like that, he hit it really well, because like when I went back and listened to it, I was expecting a lot more. And it was like, I felt like, I mean, obviously he wasn't happy with the pick, but as far as that phone call went, I don't think if I was on the other end of that call, I would have thought anything of it until like it became like a story, and then you watch it through that lens. But it was the press conference for me where he was like, I'll keep my thoughts on this like private, basically. Because they asked him like, what did you think of it? And he was like, I like basically I'm not going to tell you what I thought of it, which is, but I don't understand why, because I mean, I think, okay.
That's what I don't get either.
It's like there's 2 ways to look at it. And look, head coach's job is to win Super Bowls, and so is the GM's, but the GM also has the responsibility of the long-term success of the team. Yeah. Sean McVay is sitting here thinking like, God, is this how Aaron Rodgers felt all those years? Where it's like, we could get one more weapon and actually you like give me a receiver. They hadn't drafted a receiver in the 1st round until Golden
Tate,
or with Golden Tate wasn't Golden Tate the wide receiver for the Lions?
Yeah.
No, Matthew Golden.
Matthew Golden.
We both were on that Golden Tate. We used to call him Golden Taint.
That's what I was saying, yeah.
Oh, but it's like you got a head coach that's like, we're right there. If we could use that draft pick to, I don't know, bring in at that point of the board, who knows? There was so many guys that could have came in and been like a star. And it's it's like, no, we're gonna plan for Matthew Stafford's rate. This is the Jordan Love draft pick that pissed off Aaron Rodgers. This
Yeah.
is the Aaron Rodgers draft pick that pissed off Brett Favre.
Yeah.
And both quarterbacks were in the NFC Championship game, and then instead of getting a weapon, they went ahead and got the future quarterback when the head coaches and the quarterbacks probably all wanted one more weapon to get them to the Super Bowl.
And I was thinking the same thing, but I don't know, man, because you also like, was it not this past season, but the season prior to that, wasn't Matthew Stafford like hurt for a lot of those games, or was that last year too?
No, Matthew Stafford wasn't. I mean, he had that back injury going into the year,
but he missed some games.
Let me see.
Because kind of like you said, like, yeah, this may have not been McVay's like pick because of the point of view you're giving, but also like as the GM, round one, you like you said, you got to look to the future because the past with Matthew Stafford, he was injured for a few games there, wasn't he? And he's older, so you're kind of thinking again in the future, like maybe this is going to keep happening, and we need to get a guy in here because who knows if it's the next injury is a career-ending one, you know?
He didn't miss any games last year.
What about the year prior? I could have sworn he had missed some games.
Yeah, but that was more because they were eliminated from the playoffs, so they just didn't play him. Like, he could have played through the back injury, but like there was no point in it because why play a guy? It was 2023 he missed just one game. There was nothing in 2024, but then we heard about this back injury.
Yep.
And then that was like a concern going into week one, but then, he looked great all year. So
holy crap. Yeah.
Like
I didn't realize he had that neck injury.
And then didn't he win MVP?
Stafford?
Yeah. Didn't he win MVP last year?
Oh yeah, he did. He did win it last year. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I get the frustration. It's like, you want to plan for my departure. I just won MVP, you fuck. Like, yeah, like, I mean,
I guess he's just trying to be like Brady, but he has kind of been. I mean, he, like you said, like he won MVP last year. So like, again, I could see. I mean,
that means you're the best in the NFL. I mean, that's a pretty prestigious award to win while your GM's planning for your departure next year.
True. What I mean, real quick, because I just saw this too. I didn't even realize this. They picked a tight end in the second round.
Yeah. Let me pull it up real quick.
Max Clare, but don't they have like a good 2 tight end set right now?
They have Tyler Higbee and
Parker.
They have Colby Parkinson.
Parkinson, that's what it is. Like I felt like tight end wasn't really, I don't know, if wasn't necessarily the move, I think there.
Well, Sean McVay likes the multi-tight end personnel packages, just like Ben Johnson. And he's a athletic receiving, tight end. And I think that's kind of what that was. Offensive tackle, they got like Denver, an offensive tackle capable of playing multiple spots on the O-line. Nice. And then the wide receiver out of Miami, CJ Daniels. Oh, you know which wide receiver I really wanted?
Uh-oh.
I have it in my...
Who is this year's Luther Burden for you?
All right, so let me pull up my notes here.
Hopefully they don't ball out, dude. You can't experience 2 years of that.
So I said Brennan Thompson.
Brennan Thompson. Brennan or
And
Brendan?
where did Brennan?
Brennan Thompson. Oh, the Chargers. Oof, the Chargers got him.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, round 4 out of Mississippi State. That guy? Kyle?
You know who really got? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Now I can.
Okay. You know which player I think was like the best defensive player in this year's class?
Which one?
The Commanders. The
the
linebacker
Sonny Styles.
Sonny Styles.
Yeah.
He is going to be a future Hall of Famer.
Yep. That's yeah.
Oh, there's a really bad thunderstorm outside. Sorry.
Oh, all good. I saw that. I saw the highlights they were showing of Sonny Styles, and I was like, this guy's gonna be a problem, dude.
Yeah. And there was a couple wide receivers that I really liked. The one that I mentioned, Brendan Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that he went to the Chargers, but it is what it is. Lorenzo Styles. Who ended up getting Lorenzo Styles? I'm just going through the guys that I liked the most. Lorenzo Styles was drafted by the Saints.
Oh, wow.
In the 5th round.
Dang, and that's
this is a
Jordan Tyson in the 1st round.
Damn. Yeah, Lorenzo Styles, dude, is a safety / defensive back that ran a 4.2.
I thought he was a wide receiver. I thought you were talking wide receivers.
Oh, I was, but I was just giving you some of my favorite guys.
Gotcha.
He ran a 4.2. Xavier Thomas was a wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering where he went because that dude's a burner, dude. He ran a 4.28.
Oh,
and so did Lorenzo Styles.
Yeah, they got speed.
But Brendan Thompson's going to be a problem. He ran a 4.26, and if you're the Chargers, you're probably thinking, man, Surtain's so good in coverage. Like maybe if Denver's in a zone defense, we can get a guy that can run a 4.26. And hey, if we can't beat them with technique, maybe we can just run past their ass.
If we have to
Herbert with another deep threat. I mean, I feel like the Chargers needed a wide receiver, though, right?
Because McConkey didn't really do too well last year, right? Because
no, McConkey did well, but he was just like he had too much on his plate. I mean, he's like, I think he did extremely well, but he's just not like he's not. It's not, no matter how good you are, like it's not supposed to be that you're the only guy that they have. And that's kind of what happened when Keenan Allen went down.
Yeah.
So the Chargers really needed to get, I think they drafted Jerry Rice's nephew last year as well.
Oh, they did. You're right. Because we had talked about it. Yeah.
Nick Emanuar.
Who's that?
who do you know who drafted him?
Emmanuel? No. I'm looking at it right now. Wait, what position does he play?
He was a linebacker. I had him listed. Oh, the Seahawks. Damn.
Oh,
The Seahawks drafted him. Yeah, I couldn't believe because he started last year, right?
Omenori, right? That guy, the defensive tackle.
He was a safety. I'm pretty sure he started for Seattle all last year, but he was one of my favorite safeties in last year's draft class. Because when I went to the combine, he jumped. He had a 43-inch vertical at the combine,
Jesus Christ.
and I don't say like,
Oh,
I just go off like combine measurements
Mhm.
to determine which players I like, but I think like 70% of it is if you're like a freak athlete and you're also a good football player, because not all athletes are good football players. But when you have a guy that did really well in college and he goes to the combine and he is like a 6'5", 250 pounds running a 4.3, it's like you become my favorite linebacker in that moment because you have sideline to sideline speed. I know you're a good football player, and then you're just a freak athlete, which is like what I love the most about my guys. And I felt like there was a couple freak athletes, but none of them were more freakish than Sonny Styles from the Commanders. And I think Sonny Styles broke a bunch of records actually in the combine. And I think I wrote a couple of them down. Yeah, here. He had 6'5", 244 pounds. He put up a 43.5-inch vertical.
Oh my God.
Which was the highest at the combine since 1999.
Oh my
He had an
God.
11-foot 2-inch broad jump, which was the 99th percentile in explosion. Then he ran a 40-yard dash.
Do you think this guy
He was already PFF's number one rated linebacker before all these measurements. So I'm telling you, like, this guy is, for the Commanders to be able to draft him. And where did he get? I think he got drafted at number 7 overall. I'm surprised he made it to 7. Like, honestly, I'm surprised he made it that far down the board, because I thought like Von Miller went number 2 overall. I mean, this is a guy that had the potential to go top 5 in my opinion.
I was gonna say, like, if the Cardinals, I feel like if the Cardinals had not gone Jeremiah Love, they probably would have gone defense there for Sonny Styles. But Arvell Reese that went to the Giants at 5. There was a lot of talk about Arvell Reese, but do you think Sonny Styles is, 1, going to be better than him, and 2, like, who would you comp him as, like a Micah Parsons?
Which one?
Sonny Styles.
I would comp him with Fred Warner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
And
he does really, really well, kind of sideline to sideline with his speed.
Yeah, and Arvell Reese, his comp would be like Abdul Carter, which the Giants have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Arvell Reese is 6'4", 241 pounds. Sonny Styles is 6'5", 244 pounds. But it's the measurables that it's like you got 2 guys that are, and then one guy's breaking records at the combine. I mean, running a 4.4. I think, like, if you're the Giants, you already have Abdul Carter. So
Yeah.
why not add Fred Warner instead of another Abdul Carter?
But man, their defense is gonna be sick if Arvell Reese like can make an impact immediately. And
Oh.
even with like the Dexter Lawrence stuff going on, I feel like, you know what I mean? Like regardless, they get rid of Dexter Lawrence or not. Or wait, they did already, right? Hold on. Dexter.
They got
Dexter Lawrence.
Yeah, they traded Dexter Lawrence
to the Bengals. Yeah, to the Bengals.
So I'm curious, like updated.
What happened?
So they got Abdul Carter.
Yep.
They got this new linebacker that they just drafted.
Arvell Reese.
They got Tremaine Edmonds. They still have Brian Burns.
Brian Burns, yep.
They got Kayvon Thibodeau.
Mm-hmm.
The secondary has Paulson Abido and Greg Newsome.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, and you got John Harbaugh, who's a defensive coach. So what I'll tell you is this. The Giants are going to have a top 10 defense for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to have Jackson Dart, who's going to have to learn not to take so many hits, but the kid's a gamer. He's a gamer. You got Malik Neighbors coming back. You got Darius Slayton.
Mm-hmm.
You got, what's their...
Cam Scatabo?
You got, I was just about to say, you got Scatabo.
Yep.
The Giants, and I said it after day one of the draft, like, the Giants are going to be in the playoffs this year, but who is going to be out of the playoffs that was in last year? Unless you disagree with my take, the Giants are
the Packers. The Packers are out.
Oh God! I mean, I'll take it, but
yeah,
is that the best you got?
They were a 7 seed.
I'm gonna go with a bold one. You know who I got out?
Who?
The Eagles.
Oh, that would be crazy. Well,
this is this is the implosion year.
Oh shit! Kyle's calling it. Kyle's calling the Eagles implosion. Wow. Well, yeah, because they've got to deal with the AJ Brown stuff. They brought in their first round pick with that wide receiver, right? What's his name?
Out of USC.
Makai Lemon.
Because they drafted the wide receiver out of USC.
Mm-hmm. To basically replace AJ Brown, because it seems like basically like it's in concrete that AJ Brown's gone. So who knows? Like, because Devontae Smith, like, I feel like he's not, and I could be totally wrong, but do you think he could produce as well without AJ Brown? Kyle?
Devontae Smith and I mean, do you think, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're just really I think there's a delay here.
Oh, okay. Sorry. You were breaking up a little bit on my end, but I think it was kind of like when the Titans drafted Treylon Burks to replace AJ Brown, which is ironically what is happening with the Eagles, where they're drafting a wide receiver to replace AJ Brown now, and it didn't work out for the Titans. And I think this is worth talking about because I think AJ Brown might be, you know, Lil Wayne has a tattoo under his eye, like that says misunderstood.
Yeah.
I feel like AJ Brown is one of the most misunderstood players in the NFL because when you listen to him talk, he's like highly conscientious. He
Yeah.
reads on the sideline. He is people want to say, oh, he's just a prima donna and put him in the category with Terrell Owens and Chad Johnson. I don't think it's that simple. Like, I think AJ Brown is a baller, and I feel like the Eagles offense was atrocious last year.
Yeah.
And I think for the most part, like, yeah, where there were moments where AJ Brown was complaining while the Eagles were winning, and it's like not a good look. But then that's not all there is to the man AJ Brown. And I think if you're a team, you want AJ Brown probably on your team. Like, he's good enough where, like, I know the Broncos wouldn't add him because the Broncos care almost more about their character evaluation than they do anything else. And Sean Payton always says, like, I have a responsibility to protect the culture of the locker room. So that involves, like, saying no to a player that maybe won't come in and be a problem, but if there's even a chance that he will, we don't even take it. And there's other teams that don't really care as much, and they're like, well, we just want the best players in the building, and we'll make it work when they get here.
Mhm.
And those teams, I think, would all take AJ Brown, right now. But the question is, like, do you really think you can just bring in this guy from USC and expect everything's going to be okay now and AJ Brown is expendable? I feel like this is the beginning of a bigger problem with the Eagles, because if you weren't producing a competent offense with AJ Brown, why would I believe that you could bring in a rookie to replace a guy that is at the peak of his game, a top
Mhm.
5 wide receiver, and you're going to be better somehow without him? I don't know.
And there, like, that's a really good argument to make because of his potential, or, well, not potential, but because of his prime and how much skill he has shown you. I mean, he won a Super Bowl with you, right? So that is worth something. I don't know. Like, I feel like ever since Sirianni got to the Eagles, it's always been like, what is going on in Philly? And yet the results are like 3-4 playoff appearances out of 5 years or whatever, and a Super Bowl. Like, I don't know. Like, it just never seems to work. Look on the outside looking in, but then you see the results and you're like, okay, why is everything weird? Why is Jalen Hurts being moody? Why is Sirianni saying things like this? Why is he reacting to Chiefs fans by yelling at him? And why is AJ Brown complaining the year after winning a Super Bowl about, getting the ball or whatever? And yet somehow it's like one of those toxic relationships that ends up working out somehow. Like, it's like really bad when you're looking at it from the outside, but you're like, but they're like, oh no, it kind of, it works. And you're like, what? I don't get it. But I don't know, man. I think even with that, maybe even just kind of like getting rid of that, for, lack of better terms, kind of like a loudmouth in the media and on Twitter, I think maybe that can make things a little bit better, because Jalen Hurts, I don't think as a leader of his team or as a quarterback really wants to hear some of that stuff in the media that AJ Brown was saying, right? But Jalen Hurts also has some of that blame. So maybe even just removing one piece of this like Sirianni, Hurts, AJ Brown puzzle and, plug it in like a rookie wide receiver, maybe that makes it that much better for everybody else. And, to a point, some talent is expendable. In this case, it would be AJ Brown. But I don't know, man. Maybe that's what it is, or maybe it's just, like you said, a huge implosion upcoming in Philly.
Yeah, and we'll see. The one thing I did want to cover before we head out is the teams that did make it to the Super Bowl and where they have gone from here. So the Patriots addressed premium needs, offensive tackle and edge. I think that this is the right move. The Patriots were picking at 31, but they moved up with Buffalo to get to 28 to select Caleb Lomu. who's a big athletic left tackle. He's 6'6", 313 pounds, and he gave up 0 sacks last year, which is
wow.
pretty crazy. So he's going to be right tackle or swing tackle behind Will Campbell and Morgan Moses, but it gives Drake May, immediately it helps his pass protection. And I think it's a good move, which has kind of been the philosophy under the new regime, is to rebuild under Drake May, around Drake May. And then, I don't know, I had some question marks about some of their later picks. I mean, they brought in a tight end. They have Hunter Henry. I guess they wanted some depth there.
Yeah, I think you could go with a lot better than Hunter Henry.
And okay, so then maybe that works out. Then they brought in an edge out of Illinois, Gabe Jacobs, 19 sacks and tackles for loss in his recent season. He has a wrestling background, high motor, so some juice on the defensive front alongside all the existing pieces. And what do you make of the Patriots right now with everything that's coming out about Mike Vrabel?
Yeah.
Do you feel like this is going to be a distraction and the Patriots are due for regression?
Regression. I think yes. I think regression for sure. But
me too.
Yeah, I just don't think too much. This whole distraction thing with Diana Rossini and Vrabel, it's going to be a distraction. There's going to be signs. There's going to be media. There's going to be questions. Pre-game, post-game. Even before that, training camp and such. Right? There's going to be things being said and done to these players, so it will cause a distraction. The thing with the Patriots is I like who they picked up, Caleb Lomu for sure, left tackle, but you just got Will Campbell the last year, and now you take another first round tackle. So it's a little confusing. The thing is that they're saying that he might move to right, but is he someone who is going to need help to do that, or can he already kind of go, side to side, whatever position? So that was a little weird. I mean, the Gabe Jackass, I don't know how to pronounce that, jackass pick that you said from Illinois. Like you said, power, and it helps them on the defensive line, which I think they didn't. Well, their defense was actually pretty decent last year too. So maybe they were getting pressure, but I'm not too sure what their pressure was like, at least on the defensive line. Yeah, man, there's good and bad, obviously, and who knows where Caleb Lomu is going to play as a first round starter. But with everything going on, I feel like this is going to be the least of their problems during preseason talk, is they drafted Caleb Lomu,
right,
instead of Vrabel's over here cheating on his wife.
Yeah. And I guess the wife is the big controversial thing there, because otherwise I don't see an issue with two people that had a consensual relationship outside of the fact that he's married. But the Seahawks decision to get rid of Kenneth Walker, when Kenneth Walker, and I said this when Charbonnet went down, and I said, this is a good thing for Kenneth Walker, because I feel like he's been held back by Charbonnet, and now he can fully get unleashed. And that's exactly what happened. And he took Seattle to the promised land.
Yep.
Kenneth Walker did, he put the team on his back. And, the defense was spectacular, but then they got rid of him. And I thought that was interesting.
Weird.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know. If I had to cut ties with a running back, it's not going to be the one that just won Super Bowl MVP. And then they used their first round pick on Jadarian Price, running back out of Notre Dame, which I don't like Notre Dame running backs. I just don't feel like they ever pan out. And
That's fair.
it's I mean, we took one with Audric Estime just 2 years ago, and he's not even on our team anymore. So I mean, is that supposed to be the compliment to Zach Charbonnet? Well, we'll just throw in Jadarian Price without Kenneth Walker. Good luck with that. And then Bud Clark, safety out of TCU.
Yep.
I didn't think that there was really a need for safety in Seattle because, like, they drafted Amari.
Eminwari.
Yeah, and that worked out.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're bringing in another safety for competition. So it's like, okay, so you replaced Kenneth Walker with the Notre Dame running back. You brought in a safety to compete for a position that you don't really have a need. And then you get to the third round and you brought in a corner. And again, like you already had, what's his name? One of the corners, Witherspoon.
Yep.
So I didn't realize that there was a need on the other side. I don't know if it's just like a nickel. I mean, he's 6'2", so I don't think it's a nickel. It's a big physical corner.
Yeah.
So I don't know, like with Seahawks, I feel like they're one of those teams through the offseason that is going to regress from last year to this year. I feel like they are going to go into next year with a worse team than they had this year because of the pieces they let go and then the pieces that they drafted. To me, they don't make a ton of sense.
Well, so Jadarian Price, the running back, I mean, yeah, I think because Jadarian Price was the second best running back in the draft, or at least in college football. And that's that he was Jeremiah Love's backup, which is insane to me. I was like, I didn't even realize who Jadarian Price was. And then one of my buddies was like, yeah, because every time a running back from Notre Dame would score, you'd think it was Jeremiah Love, and that you never even realize like who is actually running it in. So, I mean, they're bringing in Kenneth. They let Kenneth Walker walk in the offseason, and he went to Kansas City. Bud Clark. So I think the reason they brought in Bud Clark, the safety from TCU, was because Kobe Bryant also left in the offseason. He's on the Bears now. And him and how you were saying Eminwari, like that was a really good pairing because I think they had originally started Julian Love in the safety position as well. And he wasn't working out. So I think they're bringing in Bud Clark to compete more with what's his face, Julian Love, more than Eminwari, because I feel like when your rookie safety does what he did last year, I think it's more than solidified that he's going to be there. And then Julian Neal, I mean, Reek Woolen was already a problem for them last season. And I only know all of this because I have a ton of Seahawks friends over here that I talk with. So Reek Woolen was already an issue, and that's why they let him walk in the offseason as well. So I think that's why they bring in another cornerback at 3. But I also feel like, kind of to your point, maybe bring in another wide receiver a little bit earlier than maybe a defensive player. I don't know. But this I love when people when you had brought up earlier how we don't do grades. Remember the Seahawks draft in like 2012 when they brought in Bobby Wagner, Russ, all those guys, and they immediately gave him an F. Like, this is why Kyle and I don't do grades, because then they look so stupid when 4 out of the 6 draft picks went to the Super Bowl winners and likely going into the Hall of Fame, maybe like something like that, right? So that's why Kyle said this at the very top. We're not doing grades because they may look like dumb at first, and then you just fall on your face flat.
Yeah, I think like I don't grade players. I guess the only critique I was making for Seattle is I don't even like the word grade, but I do
Exactly.
judge like team need. And it's like if you're not if I don't feel like you're drafting, well, my critique about letting Kenneth Walker go wasn't even a draft critique. It was just an overall team management critique.
Mhm.
But the like I think with Seattle, like you talk about Julian Love, like Julian Love's very good. I mean, he's smart. His football IQ, everyone is like saying the guy is ridiculously smart. He's super durable. He's clutch in big moments.
Mhm.
I don't see the fit for the safety that they brought in, but I mean, they had some special team needs, so maybe it's more of
Yeah.
a special teams. But I felt like their interior defensive line, the
Mhm.
trenches, is where they should have invested. I felt like their secondary / corners were fully capable, but I felt like if they would have invested in their tight ends and their defensive line, I would have felt if I was a Seahawks fan, I would have felt like that was the move. Like snag the best tight end in the draft available at 32,
Mhm.
keep Kenneth Walker, and then in the second round, grab the best defensive lineman and get a dog in the interior to only strengthen your secondary.
I don't know, dude. Their defensive line is kind of like not. I don't want to say. I'm not saying Giants stacked, but it's good. Like Leonard Williams, Byron Murphy the second, Demarcus Lawrence, and Demarcus Lawrence. Oh, he's always got the funniest quote about the Cowboys, and I'll say it here in a bit. And Derek Hall, like they definitely, yeah, they're pretty good on defensive line, but Demarcus Lawrence, he was like. Micah Parsons had critiqued Demarcus Lawrence on saying something about not being able to win in Dallas, and that's why he left. And Demarcus Lawrence was like, "I will always be a Cowboy fan, but I knew I couldn't win there, and that's why I left." I was like, "Oh shit."
Well, I only said that because Demarcus Lawrence, I think he's like 35 years old, and he only has 1 year left on his contract. So if you're building for the long term, like the secondary is all young.
Yeah.
If you're looking at age, the secondary, if I'm not mistaken, they're all on their rookie contracts still. They haven't even gotten to their
Witherspoon's year 4, and yeah.
And then their offensive line is I think. Do they have a need at guard?
I think they do. I think the biggest question mark going into last year was the Seattle Seahawks offensive line. I don't know if they had gotten rid of anybody, but I remember their defensive line or offensive line, I should say, they had drafted somebody last year. Gray Zabel. They had drafted Gray Zabel last year, and I think it was because of anticipation of having a bad offensive line, which I think was one of their needs last season in the draft or last draft. So I think at guard, maybe, and he's from Iowa, so I feel like there's no offensive linemen that are bad that come out of Iowa.
Yeah, or Wisconsin or Nebraska.
Yeah, corn-fed motherfuckers.
Corn. Yeah, exactly. But I guess I'll just leave the Seattle thing with this. The tight end position, I feel like they could have gotten better. They got Elijah Ario, but he's inconsistent. And he's still developing. So. I mean, I don't know if you're going to put all your eggs in that basket. And then they have who's the other tight end that they got from the Rams?
AJ Barner.
Yeah, I think AJ Barner. Did he go from the Rams? It feels like he did. Maybe it's just because he's in the NFC West, but
probably.
Yeah, but then finally, it's just even if they would have gotten a receiver with their first round pick, I would have thought that made a
Mhm.
lot of sense because Cooper Kupp's old. Shaheed is good, but like, how much is he going to like provide the stable number two? I feel like he's more of like a Debo Samuel, who's like he's like an X wide receiver. He can kind of, carry it out of the backfield. You can move him around. But
Mhm.
I think if they would have drafted like a consistent number two wide receiver,
Yeah.
that would have been bigger than getting another safety or something,
Yeah, and I wonder how much, because I didn't even know that they had drafted a wide receiver, but like not until the 6th round. So I wonder if this Emmanuel Henderson Jr. is like, you know, gonna be someone that what you're saying their need is, right? Like it's that solidified wide receiver too, because JSN is not going to be able to do everything. And I mean, I feel like the Super Bowl, and maybe it was more, oh my God, the quarterback's name for Seattle,
Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold. Maybe it was more Sam Darnold's play and maybe the offensive line and pressure and stuff. But you kind of saw that there was a reason why Kenneth Walker won the Super Bowl MVP, is because if you can kind of just crack and stay on top of JSN the entire time, there's not too many more options that are going to produce like JSN. So
Yeah.
maybe this Emmanuel Henderson Jr. guy, like maybe they're thinking of something with him. But yeah, I could totally agree with that. Like maybe round 2, round 3, you're already looking at a wide receiver that can absolutely produce and kind of be that opposite of JSN.
And this is where like defensive coaches sometimes get in their own way, where it's like, hey, let's get another defense. Like, it's like,
Yeah, the Giants hardball with Arvell Reese. Yeah.
yeah, it's like, really? Like, it's like, yeah, I know we have Von Miller, but what if we had 2 Von Millers? Like, imagine that. We'll get Bradley Chubb instead of Josh Allen. That's a great idea.
Dude, it worked out, right?
for Buffalo. But man, that's all I got for today. But obviously we'll have more, in the future. Can't break it all down in one night.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, guys, but thank you so much for being here. We appreciate everyone that was here. We had Daniel Barry, the very beginning, Benjamin, who came in from our last, from the draft stream, and Austin, somebody who's a little new to the stream. But thank you to everybody who was in here asking questions, supporting us. Hit that like button before you get out of here. Don't remember that. Or don't forget that, I should say.
Don't remember that.
Don't remember that. Forget it. Don't forget that. Please hit that like button, subscribe, follow us, Kyle's page, Only Football on X. And Kyle, you got anything else before we skedaddle up out of here?
That's all I got. Good talking ball.
Hell yeah. And then always a good time, brother.
Always a good time.
See ya.